Quantitative Finance program. And first, let me introduce our team. Usually, I'm the coordinator for the program, and we have the manager of the program, Mickey. Mickey and Macy actually involved a lot on organizing activities for students. And if you have any question at all about our program, please always feel free to email us, okay? So if you email us, we try to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so for Quantitative Finance program at UST, it's a combination between finance, computer science, mathematics, and data science, statistics. Okay, so we look at ourselves as a platform for students to learn all those 4 kinds of subjects. Okay, so just to begin our talk, we want to ask you some kind of fun fact. You know how many transactions happen in the market now is done automatically by programs, coding? How many percent? 35? Okay, so let's see how many percent. 70% of transactions is done by non-human. So now the market is dominated by machine. So and it will be helpful for you to learn how the machine works. Okay, but to learn how the machine works, you have to understand what? Finance, computer programming, mathematics, and statistics. And our program can help you move to that direction. Okay? So, and these are the courses in our curriculum, right? So basically, for our curriculum, we're going to ask you to study the required course. Okay, you can see that for the required course, it will be the combination of all those subjects that I mentioned. And then I will tell students, okay, you have to dig deeper on each dimension, right? So finance, computer programming, data analysis, and quantitative skills. So once you touch on more subjects on those, right, you can then decide, okay, do you want to be the generalist? Generalist just means someone who just okay on many things, or do you want to be specialist? If you want to be a specialist, right, you can choose to have double major. So basically, we look at our program as a platform so that you can choose your path. If you want to be specialist, right, you can choose, for example, if you want to be good at computer programming, you can do QFIN plus computer science, right? And now we have 26 students doing that, okay? 26 students in our program do QFIN plus computer science. And or if you say you want to be good at mathematics, then you can do QFIN plus major in mathematics. The thing is that at UST, we are pretty flexible. You can declare multiple majors across school. It doesn't have to be within the same school. You are in business school, but you can declare second major in science or engineering. And if you can see from here, some students even declare 3 majors at the same time. Okay? And actually last year, one student graduated with 4 majors within 4 years. We don't really push students to declare too many majors, okay? So it's just that we do not want to limit you. If you want to do 4, okay, so be it, you can do 4. It's okay. If you can handle, you can do 4. But if you want to do only 1 major, you can do 1. Okay, so and sometimes the job placement is not correlated to how many majors you have. Actually, in the past, some students maybe have only 1 major, but he may get the best job within his cohort. It happened. Okay, it happened many times. Double major is not a requirement; it's more like an option. And right now, as many of us understand, right, we have AI and AI is disrupting this world, right? And there's a lot of uncertainty about the career path, right? Like some people say, okay, I want to be data science, or I want to be good at coding, and suddenly, recently, those companies, like technology companies, they cut down the headcount for those computer science or coding. So it doesn't mean that those things is not important. It just means that you have to be ready to move to multiple paths. And as you can see from this one, okay, our students can choose any path that they want. If they want to be technical, they can do many things that look technical, right? Double major in computer science, or mathematics, or data science, so, or you can do anything, okay, any combination. And our university allow our students to go for exchange. We have probably more than 150 exchange partners. So you can go for exchange. And I talked with our alumni during lunch. I said, okay, for my own son, actually, it will be a very good idea to study in UST, even if he wants to go abroad. Why? So the plan is study in UST for 2 years, and then go for exchange in year 3. And because we save so much money, study in UST compared to UK or US, we can ask my son to do visiting in US extra 1 semester and apply for visiting, for example, at Columbia. Then it will be a lot easier to go to Columbia through the visiting program than go straight from undergrad, like high school to undergrad. So I think exchange plus some visiting is a very good option if the young people want to have at least a year outside Hong Kong, and this option is pretty reasonable. Okay, for our community, for our QFIN, we want to make sure that our students get enough support from multiple ways. So first, let's look at this first. The student body statistics, right? So at UST, we keep increasing the number of international students, but we are not decreasing the number of Hong Kong students. Okay, so basically, we are gradually increase program size. We keep the number of Hong Kong students roughly the same, but increase international students from time to time. So we try to be more international and more diversified. This is what we say, right? We want to give support to young people. We match year 1 student with year 3 and year 4, so that the senior student can give advice to younger students. Okay, but that will be more about student life and academic part. That will be senior student give advice to junior students. But we also know that our strength for our program is academic and career. So for the career part, we ask professionals who want to help society. You know, in this world, right, many people, they are very successful. You can look at the list. This is the current list of those who want to help us. They are very successful, and they look at themselves and they say, I want to help society. And one of the ways they can help society is to volunteer to be the mentor for our students. So any student who join our program, if you want, you can choose to have mentors, and those people will be your mentor. Okay, and if any parents who sit here, if you are very good in finance, and if you want to volunteer, please contact us. We welcome you to be our student mentors as well. Okay, so just to clarify, we don't have any kind of criteria. Okay, so as long as you are QFIN students and you want one of those to be your mentor, you will get one. Okay, so everyone who wants, you get one. For 2 years, if you want. Okay. Okay, so we have many other programs to support our students. So at UST, we are good at what? We are good at academic, we are good at career, and we try to support students to be well-rounded. And of course, we want our community to be very good in terms of support each other and make us happy and successful. That is what we want. So we do something else other than career and study as well, just so that we can have good time in university. Okay, so let's see what kind of job our students get. This is the job that our students got. The student who graduate in 2025 get this kind of job. Okay, so this is the statistic only from 2025, not before that. Okay, this is in a year what kind of thing our student get. Oh, sorry. So our student get this kind of thing, right? 2025, and this is the school that they study after finish our undergrad program. Let's see what kind of internship our students do during the summer this year. Okay, this is just 1 year. This is not multiple year statistic. Within this year, our students do this kind of internship. Okay, so as you can see, we prepare our students for finance career. Most of the jobs they get will be finance-related jobs. So if you want to work in finance industry, I really feel that we are a good option for you. Okay, we hope you choose us. This is how you can get into QFIN. If you want more details, actually our admission team, they are very good. They can tell you, answer you any question about admissions. So for some certain criteria, right, the requirement may be a little bit complicated. So if you are not sure, just ask our admission team. I think that's it for me. After me, we have Jocelyn, okay, and we have Ryan. Jocelyn now is work with JP Morgan, and Ryan is now in year 3. If I understand correctly, you also take leave to work, right? So are you on leave now? Are you on leave now? Yes, right. So Ryan is also on leave. He is working actually. Officially, he is not student this semester. So now, after he finished 2 years of study, he decided to work first. And that is quite common for UST students. They take a gap semester to get more experience. Okay, so maybe let me pass the time to Jocelyn.
Hello everyone, I'm Jocelyn. I just graduated from HKUST's QFIN program in 2023, which is 2 years ago. So very happy to be here today to share you my own HKUST and QFIN journey. So to start, a very basic fact, some of the facts about myself. Before UST, I don't look like very typical Hong Kong people, but I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I studied local school throughout my journey. And in my HKUST, I actually took physics, economics, and accounting. And when I joined HKUST, quantitative finance is my first major, and I also took an additional major in economics to make my studies more comprehensive and also explore different aspects. And now, after my graduation, I landed a permanent role in JP Morgan, started with a rotational program, and now I'm working as a liquidity and account solution specialist. So, now let me tell you my very honest and transparent journey on how I get into HKUST QFIN. What were my considerations and how the journey has been. To start, that's a very broad question of how I got into HKUST QFIN. To start, the journey is like, should I study in Hong Kong? Because to start, very interestingly, I got an offer from a quite popular university in Beijing when I was in high school. So I was thinking, I want to get some more exposure outside of Hong Kong. Maybe like mainland China is somewhere that I can go that's kind of near and not so far from my family. But Before my JUPAS result, actually, there's like some of my family members got some critical illness, and I was reconsidering the decision. Actually, we do have a lot of great universities in Hong Kong, and I do believe like our top 3 universities, especially how good UST is doing in business majors. I was reconsidering the decision and thought to myself, actually, I can do great wherever I go and just make my path out of it as long as the university and the major has enough resources for me. So that's the reason I decided to stay in Hong Kong and explore the University of Science and Technology. But as long as, I think a lot of people understand, oh, there's a lot of thoughts about UST is too academic related, there's stress and tension, etc. So I try to explore this first person in myself. I joined the UST JUPAS summer camp, which is before we pick our final JUPAS decision. So in that summer camp, I actually got my first-hand experience to talk to the UST people, to do some experiential classes that we have with our professors. And that's the time I noticed UST people are not only good at academics and working, they're also very communicatable and very kind. That's the work hard, play hard that I'm looking for, that people can do well in both sides. So UST is the one to go. But why Kilvin at last? I think it's a very straightforward answer for me, because for Kilvin, we have a very comprehensive curriculum. For me, I'm very interested in finance and banking, but finance and banking is actually quite a wide range of jobs inside this aspect as well. But for Kilvin, we have finance, we have statistics, mathematics, computer science. It necessarily equips me with all the skills I need to actually apply for a job that I will find interesting maybe a few years after I start my program. So that's the reason that I ended in HKUST Kilvin. But in my first 2 years, you can actually see it's very different from the high school time that you have. You're waking up every day at 7:30 or 8 and then going to school at least fully packed. But in UST and other universities probably, you can tailor your own timetable. You pick your own course, you take your own, manage your other different courses and pick the best time for yourself. Here, the blue boxes are the day offs that I have. Definitely, you can choose to study, you can hang out with friends. Some artists will do case competition with friends, we can do part-times, internships, and maybe startups or any other things like traveling that you're interested in. So, in my first 2 years, I study a lot of maybe general or university common cores and also business common major stuff. And in my free time, not only in these day offs that I have, we also have semester breaks, which is quite long for UST compared to other university friends that I have. As a year 1 student that just joined university, we don't have much on our CV. It could sound a bit hard to apply for internships and stuff, but UST and Kilvin has a lot of career support system we have. So actually, the bottom left one is the annual hackathon that we have in UST. I joined with a few friends that I met. One is from Kilvin, one is from Blue Business, one is from Information Systems. 4 of us actually won in the hackathon, one of the tracks in the hackathon. And the competition was actually sponsored by Deloitte. And that's the way that I got fast-tracked into Deloitte Digital Consulting's internship in that summer, which is a very good experience for me to actually apply my skills in the industry and also explore if I actually like consulting this kind of aspect. And in the last summer, one of the summer that I had in my university time, I did an internship at JP Morgan, in which I also got the chance for a return offer and returned there after my graduation as a full-time analyst. So, quick pause here of how actually Kilvin has helped me throughout this journey. Why is UST, why is Kilvin, what are the value propositions that helped me to, for my journey and also how I became a full-time analyst after my graduation. The first part is knowledge. Definitely the curriculum is very comprehensive, as mentioned by Akacha, our professor. But actually, you don't need every single technical detail that you learn in every class when you graduate. But the thing that you know this vast of knowledge helps you to understand different business contexts when you're trying to understand major economic events or you're talking with your different clients, you understand how the world's happening and what's the theory and behind it. So even though may not be every skill or every course that you take is that necessary, but the vast of knowledge makes you a person that you can fit into a lot of jobs in the banking and finance industry. And the second is resources, not just the programs, resources on career support, but also our professors. A lot of them are industry experts. We also have a lot of visiting professors telling us not just the knowledge on our academic books, but how have they've been through the industry and what are their career advice to us. Towards the connection, HKUST Cupid is not a big program. It's kind of relatively small compared to other majors, but we have a very tight community with our batchmates and also across different batches. Our classmates actually work in like very different fields now, but it's always good to keep the connection with our friends and also the alumni before us to get their career advice or even referrals or other career guidance. But last but not least, I think very cliche, but I do think the quantitative finance major name itself has been really helpful in my journey. Because when I was applying internship previously or now as a junior member of my firm, I also have to screen CVs of the new applicants we have. I do feel that HKUST Cupid has established its reputation among the employers that, oh, this candidate is from HKUST Cupid. Probably we might consider at least give him a chance for an interview. So that's how my personal take on how this program has helped me throughout the journey. But other than these very typical studies, internships, I also take some quite interesting decisions throughout my university time. In 2022, the year before I graduate, in the first half, I actually took a gap semester. It means that I'm not paying UST's tuition, I'm still a UST student, but I went for a 6 months internship, which was actually referred by Mickey, our program coordinator, in an asset management firm that has kept close relationship with the QC program. I was the asset management sales back then in that firm. It helped me to actually apply what I learned in the program and see how the industry is like, not only for 1 or 2 months internship, but spend 6 months there to see how the actual workplace and the industry has been like, seeing if I actually want to drop in that field. So after the gap semester, I also took that semester in exchange. In that exchange, I actually traveled to the US in the University of Michigan. US is a continent that I've never explored before, so I was really excited to try to explore not just the academic side, but also how the culture is like in those countries and meet the exchange people and also the local students from there. And in that exchange semester, I'm paying the UST's tuition, I got some exchange scholarship, and then going on exchange, we also study courses from that university, and those credits are transferable back to UST. So actually, after both the gap semester and the exchange semester, I still graduate on time in a 4-year time frame, but got some extra happy experience that I had throughout this time. Here are just some photos I have during my exchange. My exchange was in Michigan, but definitely there are holidays that you can go to different states in the US with my friends, and also met a lot of nice people and even joined different societies in the university there. So it's a fruitful journey that we can take courses, transfer credits, and also play around and also got to know the people there. But other than exchange, actually a lot of nice stuff also happened during my time only in UST. I actually, on the left 2 pictures is I took the photos in our hall. So we have quite a lot of halls here in UST, especially it's guaranteed for first-year students. Birthday celebrations, hobbying, hot pot in our university. And something that I actually explored quite late in my university time and a lot of people doesn't know, we actually have a water sports center here because we're right next to cycle. So I took kayaking classes, and also swimming classes with my friends. So it's actually right next to our university and next to our hall. And after these classes, I got a certificate, so I'm still now hanging out with my friends in those recreational centers, water sports centers by the government, to still doing these water sports. Really nice. And the rest are some UST Seafront, Jupiter's Camp, and all the nice times I had. But not only inside the university, we also stay in contact with my friends outside. Maybe we have different gatherings, and here are a few of my Cupid major friends. We spend a lot of time outside of university and even took a graduation trip. So I just want to say that you will meet a lot of people, nice people in university, and you can keep contact with them not only during your university time, but also outside, and also the friends that you meet from other universities by joining different communities. And these are only my own HKUST Cupid journey. And if you're interested in the program, definitely you will have your own path. And now I'll pass the time to Ryan, our current student, which definitely have a different time in Cupid, unlike me, but definitely a great time as well.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for her perspective as an alumni and giving us a holistic view of what a QFIN student could anticipate in his or her school life. So right now I will be transitioning to my part. So do be prepared that my slides will be more simple than what Jocelyn demonstrated. Anyways, a bit about myself. So my name is Ryan, and I'm currently a year 2. I just finished year 2, so it's like year 2 point something student. I'm actually, as Professor Ekachai mentioned, I'm actually taking a semester leave, and I'm working at a US bank. So I would mention that later again in this presentation. And I am also double major in in computer science. So I would also elaborate on that in just a second. And yeah, so next slides. So yeah, no, any contents. I would elaborate on studies first. So for those who are not very familiar with what our program offers, feel free to scan the QR code. Also, for those who might be interested in the COSC curriculum, do feel free to scan the QR code as well. And but what I wanted to deliver today would be none of those things that are already in the curriculum. Rather, I would want to mention something that stretches beyond lectures and textbook knowledge, and that is probably some data analysis skills or programming skills, which I think is essential as a quantitative finance student or any person who wants to delve into this realm. So on the left-hand side, the top one, you can see like a Kaggle icon. I don't really know if you can see it. Anyways, there's a website called Kaggle, which I think is a very helpful resource that helped me deliver my instinct towards data analysis early on in my year 1 studies. So I think everyone should really grasp or seize the opportunity to make use of any resource that is available out there to develop your own edge. And I think you all could have a look at this website. And I did engage in some of their courses and competitions, which I found very helpful. And some of them are actually transferable to some of our existing courses. So do check out on that. And apart from that, we also have some Coursera courses. I think that's also relevant to our studies. For example, they all do offer some free courses on AI and mathematics, which I think would be helpful if you're really invested in that realm. And what I'd like to point out is that I think the finance and computer science curriculum alone is probably not enough for you to, doesn't offer enough resource for you to get into the workplace straight away. And what you need to develop is the trait for ongoing learning. And I think that is what sets you apart from the others. Moving on to the next one. So double major. I think this would be a decision that most of you or some of you might face when we get to university. Quantitative finance only offers limited exposure, I would say, to finance, computer science, and mathematics overall. And I personally believe that if you really want to have an in-depth knowledge in any of this realm, you will probably want to do an additional major, for say in mathematics, in computer science, or in any other realm. So obviously there's a lot of things that you would have to consider. So here I'll just list out a couple. yeah, so basically, I think skill sets, right? As you know, workplace is ever changing, and for example, the AI I just mentioned, we won't have the exposure to the state-of-the-art, for example, models like methodologies that scholars have been researching. So basically, I would say that it's only possible for you to really, have a development expertise in the realm by really engaging in the courseworks, right? So that's the fundamental stuff. And but obviously, the cons are you have a packed study plan, right? So for me, I think I started off with like 40 something, and it's like in general it's mostly like 120 something if you only took one major. But if you like do a double major or even an additional minor, then it amounts to like 140, 150 something. So it would be a significant workload in addition to your pathway. So this is something that you all might want to be mindful of. And another thing that I want to point out is for some of the majors that stretches beyond the business school, for example, computer science or math, do make sure to research on their respective departments, their policies, and most importantly, their courses, so as to be prepared of what's to come. So, moving on. So this is basically my last internship experience. So as you can see from right now, I did 3 internships. One is ongoing, and I think this is a typical pathway for a qualifying student. So first start off in preferably a startup or a less known financial institution, working on something that is more general, right? So in my case, I did a developer intern at a startup. So basically did a very simple stuff on programming, but there I did utilize stuff that I learned in the year 1 studies. So I think that's still a value add. And starting from year 2, I think we would have a certain level of fundamental knowledge, so we could start engaging in more sort of advanced role, let's say. So as you can see, in winter, I worked in a local boutique bank, also in a developer role. There, I had a more in-depth exposure on the financial landscape, particularly how a portfolio manager oversees their book, the P&Ls, their risks, etc. So, and then I think these 2 internships also laid the foundation on so it's in how to utilize your textbook knowledge in a real life setting, and also adding your own knowledge on top of that. And so in my year 2 summer, I did get an offer from a US custodian bank, and well, this actually happened through a referral from one of our seniors. And I would say I'm very fortunate to work at the forefront of finance as an EFX trading intern, and I would be explaining that in a minute. So, so for those of you who may be not so familiar with the concept of EFX, it's basically a team in FX sales and trading in the broader global markets team in a bank. And basically, it's basically the manifestation of quantitative finance, I would say. So you could expect lots of maths, modeling, stuff related to programming, optimizations, and also finance, of course. Right, so, okay, so basically what I do is I program, so I have like, for example, market data, and then I use some programming language to kind of process the data, and then I'll send out prices to our broader clients. So basically, from this process, lots of textbook knowledge we utilize. For example, data structures. We would some of our computer science courses offers courses on data structures, algorithms, computer organizations, all of which could be utilized in this setting. So that's me. Okay, so ULife, moving on to ULife, what do we have here? So left hand side, you can see like a beautiful open campus. It's not UST, as all people might know, recognize. It's in Oxford, Alumni College. So I did participate in a summer school back when I was at year one, and very beautiful campus. Yeah, so in UST we offer like summer schools, so do pay attention to that. I think it's a very good value add on the resume, and also your exposure, international exposure. So on the top right hand side, you can see badminton court. Yeah, and this is usually where me and our peers do sports. From right hand side, this was like a little project that we're going, and this is like a photo of us. Very nice. And yeah, so that's a wrap. And we're passing time to Nikki for presentation.
Okay, so thanks so much, Ryan and Jocelyn. We're running out of time, so we cannot do Q&A here, but some of us will be in LSK 1007. So if you have more questions about our program, please go to the Business School Building, room 1007. Okay, so or you can just